Okay, so I guess we can start. Hello, everyone. As I said before, my name is Yorgos Muftoglu, and I will be your moderator in today's webinar. Um, Thank you very much for joining in. And this is a webinar organized and implemented as part of the series of webinars entitled Business and Art Come Together. We cooperate instead of competing, and it is implemented under the framework of the Erasmus Plus project, cultural footprint. Now, for those that could not and did not attend the previous webinar, let me introduce you to this project and what this project is about. So the Cultural Footprint project is a young entrepreneurial development project for emerging artists and aims to develop an enterprising mindset among young artists and encourage them to take responsibility for their own success and life achievements. Now, the project applies a four-step methodology that improves youngsters' skills in terms of entrepreneurial mindset and helps them realize their first entrepreneurial ideas. The first step is to inspire the artists, the second to teach them practical skills, the third to mentor them, and the fourth to network them. So the general idea behind the project is about promoting young entrepreneurship, individual tutoring, upgrading of digital skills, and creativity thinking among youth cultural workers and emerging artists in the role of learners and business experts in the role of the trainers who have faced the difficulties of the post-COVID-19 era in terms of financial incomes, networking, and collaboration. So the learning by doing process in this project is accomplished in cooperation with business incubators and entrepreneurs. So today's webinar aims to introduce you to the second module as part of the educational curriculum that was developed under the project as well, and it is entitled Get to Know Your Strengths. So today we have Giulia Fornari and Daniele Brancati with us. They will be your presenters and trainers. And I have also sent you just in the chat the link to the Cultural Footprint Project's website, where you can browse the general aims and the project results of the project, as well as several news and updates on the project and further opportunities for your potential development, such as the MOOC platform of the project that it will launch in a few days, as well as a registration process that is currently running and aims to invite emerging artists to register and submit their artworks to be hosted by the project's repository in case you want to further promote your work and explore new networking opportunities. So, the aims of today's training. Today's training is about teaching you how to develop self-awareness and understand your context of action to discover your own personal strengths and weaknesses through SWOT analysis. So SWOT analysis is a very important tool about getting to know your strengths and weaknesses, and it helps you both for your personal and professional development. And third, the aim of today's training is to define the value system for personal and professional improvements. Now, I would like to present you with the general rules of implementation of these at all the webinars organized under the project. First of all, as you may see on top of your screen, an automatic message appears informing you that this meeting is being recorded. So this webinar and all cultural footprint webinars have to be recorded due to the project's rules of implementation and reporting. This will be done always in accordance with the GDPR. Therefore, if you don't wish to appear in the recorded version of today's session or in some promotional screenshots and photos that we will take later on during the implementation, then you can keep your cameras turned off. Now, I have previously also shared an attendance list with you here in the chat. It is a link which I kindly ask you to follow and sign today's attendance list. This is also important, again, for the project's requirements of implementation. And an evaluation form will also be shared with you by the end of today's session for you to assess the training and give us your feedback. Again, this is very important for us. So this is the attendance list that we need you to sign. In case the link is not appearing in the chat, I am pasting it again. So, as you may see, I have sent you again the link to the attendance list. As you see, what we need you to fill in is your full name, the name of the sending organization. If there isn't a sending organization, you can leave it blank or just type where you found out about today's session, your country of residence, your email address, and your signature. Now, if you cannot copy and paste your signature in this section or cannot even draw it, then you can simply write again your name in the signature session. But what is very important for you is to fill in your full name and email addresses correctly. And I will explain in a few seconds why. This is also a preview of the evaluation form that will be shared with you later on. And it can be accessed both by a computer and by your mobile phones. Why it is very important? Okay, I see a message about the attendance list. If anyone faces the same problem with the attendance list, please write in the chat and I will try to share it again. Otherwise, we'll see how we'll keep track of your participation. So don't worry. It is very important for you, though, to provide us with your full names and email addresses, because this is how we will be able to provide you with your certificates of attendance after the end of the trainings. So, lastly, some rules of communication. During the whole session, please keep your microphones on mute unless you have been given the permission to ask questions or generally speak. So in case of questions, please first raise your hand here digitally, and once the trainers have given you permission to speak, you can unmute yourselves. As I mentioned before, the meeting must be recorded and some photos or screenshots will be taken later on during the implementation. This is important for reporting and implementation purposes. If you don't wish to appear in neither of these, just keep your cameras turned off. It works for us. Lastly, make sure that in the attendance list or in here, you provide us with your full names written correctly as you have provided them during your registration, because it is very important so that we can provide you with the correct certificates of attendance. And lastly, before giving the floor to today's trainers, I will present you with an indicative agenda. We are almost done, as you understand, with the introductory part of the training. So what will follow for the next 45 minutes is a part about self-awareness, extrospection, and SWOT analysis. We may have like a short break for 5 minutes. And then within the last 45 minutes of the training, you will be introduced to the topic about assessing through others, and you will also implement several practical exercises. And during the last 10 minutes of the webinar, we'll cover some conclusive remarks, both by the trainers and perhaps by you if you want to address anything. And during this short period, you will be shared with the evaluation form to start filling it in digitally. So that's all for me. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for joining. I will just see some messages that we have received in the chat right now, and I will help you with anything regarding the attendance. So without further ado, I give the floor to today's trainers. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you, Yorgos. And I would like to present my colleagues Daniele Brancati that will start this presentation with a brief description of what is mindfulness that is so linked with our topics today.
I'm also sharing your PowerPoint presentation, just to know. So in a few seconds you will see appearing on your screen.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to this webinar. I'm very glad to be here with you and to meet you all. As Giulia was saying, I'm Daniele Brancati. I am working from Matera, a little city in south of Italy, and our company is called MATERAHUB. I am an expert in mindfulness. I was trained in a school in Rome some years ago, and I was always passionate by meditation and mindfulness themes. And at a certain point in my life, I decided to become a professional, let's say, in this field. So I started to study mindfulness with some trainers, with some professors at university and in some schools and training centers in order to become myself a trainer of mindfulness and all related disciplines. Today, I would like to speak with you about some important concerns about mindfulness and why mindfulness is related to creativity and also to entrepreneurship in some aspects. Of course, we should start from the concept of self-awareness. Self-awareness is not an easy theme, an easy topic. Philosophically speaking, self-awareness was an issue always studied by philosophers in all centuries. Even one of the first philosophers of Western philosophy, so Socrates, was studying the self-awareness. And one of his most important teachings, as you may know, was know yourself, which is easy to say but hard to act. In fact, self-awareness is a very complicated subject. Another important philosopher in later centuries, such as Descartes, Cartesius, was thinking, I'm thinking, therefore I am. So if I am thinking and I know that I'm thinking, I am knowing myself, therefore I'm existing. So knowing himself also wants to mean that we can discover more about ourselves because we know that there is something to discover. This is, philosophically speaking, a very complex subject. I will not go deeper in this subject because it is not a webinar about philosophy. But I want to reach now the subject of mindfulness. And mindfulness, maybe if you know, was funded by John Kabat-Zinn, who was a very important psychologist and microbiologist in the University of Massachusetts, in the Institute of Technology of Massachusetts, a very renowned university in the United States. John Kabat-Zinn was also a very important scientist and researcher. And he discovered that thanks to some techniques of meditation and concentration, some of his patients could have a big and important relief in their stress. So he started to study self-awareness and which kind of impact had the meditation and some kind of exercises to the stress they experimented and lived in their lives. So after many years of studies in the University of Massachusetts, John Kabat-Zinn discovered that an important sequence of 8 weeks of training in exercises of meditation and body scan and all related exercises of self-awareness were really helping a lot his patients to overcome many problems in their lives. And so let's say that he founded mindfulness as we know it today. Mindfulness is a very important discipline. Now it's studied in all the countries all over the world since more than 20, 30 years. And it is scientifically proven and studied by all the scientific community all over the world. So now let's link this brief history of mindfulness to the topic of today. So the self-awareness and why self-awareness is important for the creativity. And you will see also more in detail with my colleague Giulia and through SWOT analysis later. So let's say that everyone of us can experiment stress and problems in their lives. So we can say this stress is a component of our lives. It can be a problem caused by our work, our family, relationship, or also a mix of these kind of stressors. And when we identify something that it's make arise stress in us, we can speak about a stressor. We can have one stressor or more stressors in our lives. And we have a scheme of reaction to stressors and to stress in general. And it is very important to know more deeply this, because sometimes stress does not allow to be relaxed and flow with things and with creativity. So now we are starting to see the link also between creativity and ourselves. Let's say that very often the reaction to the stress, it's also physical. So sometimes we have a physical reaction to stress, like anxious states, or even we can start to tremble, our hands can start to shake, or we can start to breathe in a very anxious way. So we can have very many kind of schemes of reaction to stress. But in the end, the reaction to stress is very, very common. And why I'm saying that? Because the scheme of reaction is something that we inherited from our ancestors. So this was proven by many scientific studies. When our ancestors, let's say, had a risk to their survival in past centuries, they had two choices: fight or flight. We call it in psychology. So we can fight the risk that is occurring, or we can escape, so we can flight. But in our more civilized world, we cannot fight with each person we encounter in our lives, or we are meeting in our lives, that are causing stress, because it's not accepted in society. Even though we can flight, because it's not accepted by our society, our work, or our relationships. So we are starting to introvertize and to experiment the stress in our inner state, and we cannot react to it. So we are like accumulating layers and layers and layers of stress. So this can become a very important problem at a psychological level and in a psychological state. So why I'm saying that? Because if we can notice our scheme of reaction to the stressors, we can stay in control of our lives. Of course, it is not easy to handle all situations and to recognize and act in order to become more calm, relaxed, and in control of the situation we are facing, because we are overwhelmed by this stressing situation and by the stressors we can meet in our daily lives. But even though it is not easy, it's worth the price to start a process of knowing ourselves, because this can allow us to become more in power, more in control, and so also more into the flow of things. And we can start also to deal with our problems with more self-awareness. So instead of reacting, we can also act. So we are knowing what we are experimenting, and we are not just reacting to the stressor, but we are dealing with the whole situation. This can allow us also to act in a more creative way. If I'm facing a problem and I'm reacting in an automatic way, it will be probably not a good reaction to the situation. I could be more enraged, I could be more aggressive, and I cannot deal with creativity, with this problem and with this situation. So if I'm knowing my scheme of reaction and also the scheme of reaction of others, I can find a common way to deal with a problem and also to find a more creative solution to what we are experimenting. And so this can be in our relationships, in our work context, in our family context, and so on. So self-awareness is important for another topic, because creativity is also related to open-mindedness. If you are, some of you, of course, are artists or are working in art or in craft, you can know that to be creative, you have also to be open-minded. You have to receive all the stimulus that are coming from outside. But if we are experimenting states of stress and we are full of stressor in ourselves, we are nervous, we are overexcited, maybe good ideas and good thinkings are not coming with us. And we know that very often, not always, but very often, art and the business related to art and ideas coming from art are coming where we are more relaxed, when we are not inside the box, where we are able to think outside the box. This is one of the way we can act in a creative way. So to be creative, to be aware of ourselves, allows us to be more, let's say, open to new ideas coming from other people, from some books, for some other masterpiece of art, or some podcast, and so on. So my suggestion is for you as artists or people working in the field of art, if you are interested, of course, to experiment some mindfulness pathways. And in order to become more creative and to become more relaxed and in flow. If you are interested, I can give you 2 resources. I can write the links in chat. Just 1 second. I will link now in chat a very useful resource, a website which has also some other languages. We have Italian, Spanish, French. Just 1 second. I will open the chat. Now you should have the link to this beautiful website, who was conceived by a very good mindfulness trainer in the United States, with full of resources, book concerning mindfulness, creativity, and so on. And also a very interesting article with also many other resources, with an interview to the founder of mindfulness, so Jon Kabat-Zinn, as I was saying just a minute ago. Is a brief article, but is very exhaustive and full of useful resources. So I really hope you will go deeper in the topic of mindfulness for your own benefit. And now I will leave the stage to my colleague Giulia. And I'm sorry, but I will leave in some minutes because I have another call. And it was a very pleasure to meet you and share this moment with you. Enjoy.
Thank you, Daniele. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you. Yorgos, if you can start with the first slides, because that presentation of Daniele was like an extra content from an expert.
Of
it's
course.
Not into the slide that it just.
Do you want me to take it from the introduction?
Yeah, just 3
Perfect.
slides before. It's okay, I think.
Like here?
Yeah, like that. Yeah,
Perfect.
because Daniele talked about mindfulness, that is
Mm-hmm.
big topic, and we start with empowerment that is also related to entrepreneurship. We can say, or Robert Adams give us this definition, that is the capacity of the individuals, group, or community to take control of their circumstances, exercise power, and achieve their own goals, and the process by which individually and collectively they are able to help themselves and others to maximize the quality of their lives. So empowerment is also very linked to entrepreneurship and also to self-awareness. In the next slide, we take again the empowerment and why is important, because when we are self-aware about ourselves, we are more power about us, about the environment we act, about the topic that we are speaking, about our work, relation, and everything. So we became more confident and more creative. We can take sounder decision, we can build stronger relationship, and we can communicate better and of course more effectively. And we are also less likely to lie, cheat, or steal, and we are a better worker. For example, the best leaders have a very good self-awareness. We can say in the next slide, Yorgos, yes, thank you.
Can you see?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, now I can see. I don't know if my connection is very good today. Anyway, in this module, we will start with internal self-awareness, and then we'll go to the extrospection, so the self-awareness, but also referring to others. About the internal one, it's tempting to value on over the other, and leader must actively work on both seeing themselves clearly and getting feedback to understand how others see them. In this link at the end, where you can see here with the underline, it's a very nice quiz that I suggest you everybody to take it, because in this quiz they give you a lot of information and answer and question about self-awareness. It's a private, so you can understand after this quiz how you are self-aware about yourself, and then you can send also to your friend, because as we said before, it's important also to make self-awareness with the others. And it's 18, it's 6:03, I think. To take the quiz is like 5 minutes, so I give now the time to take this quiz and to reflect about the answer that you will see, the question that you can replay. Okay, so I think 5 minutes is enough. And then you can also put the email of one of your friends or to someone that is in the chat. Okay, I think 2 minutes and then we can start again. Okay. I don't know if someone wants to share the feeling or the results, or if it's the question were too personal. Anyway, it's a good assessment tool, I think. If you want to propose again an activity like that in a class or in a workshop or in a webinar, I think it's a good starting point. Also, if you getting this kind of webinar but in live session, it's nice to do also. It needs to, sorry, I see the message now. To see the result, you have to start with putting your name, like enter your name and emails so we can send you reports. So they will show you, send you the result by emails, I think. And also, yes, you can put the email of someone else, like your friends. And Yorgos, maybe we can go to the next. Yeah, the archetypes is another kind of assessment. For example, I did the quiz 2 times and I have different answer. Then I try to think about these archetypes. So the people can be introspector, aware, pleaser, or seekers. For example, we can start with the aware person. Usually the leader are the most aware people, and they know who they are, what they want to accomplish, and seek out and values others' opinions. This is where leaders being to fully realize the true benefit of self-awareness. Then there is the introspector, that is like the second level, we can say. They are clear on who they are, but don't challenge their own view or search for blind spots by getting feedback from others. And this is important also to understand. And this can harm their relation and limit their success in this way. Then we have the pleaser. So they can be so focused on appearing a certain way to the others that they could be overlooking what matters to them. I think that in this time, for example, social media bring us to show a lot, to appearing a lot, but then we take care about what the other thinks about us, but it's just a photo, it's just a like. It's so different to be aware of what we are, what you like, and etc. So over time, they tend to make choices that aren't in service of their own success and fulfillment, but more care about the other opinions. And then there is the seekers, so the people that they don't yet know who they are, what they stand for, or who their teams see them. That is still a good point. There's no good level and bad level in this kind of archetypes, because I think that life is a dynamic thing. So in a period of your life, you maybe don't know who you are, what you want from your life, and the next year you will be so clear about that. So it depends. And as a result, they might feel stuck and frustrated with their performance and their relationships. That is true, because if you really don't know who you are and what you want, it's clear that it's not so good. But in art, it's normal to have different kind of flow, different kind of mood. So this is the fourth awareness archetypes. We can go to the next. That is objective and learning result of this module. We already talked about a bit, but this module will help us to identify our most important skills and character traits, improve, and then to turn them in expandable, desired, and good skills for your dreaming job and career. Like, for example, for your career in art or in other career that you can discover to have good skills about, I don't know, analogic or technology. So it's about that. And the key is to take advantage of the strength discovered and adapt them to situation, needs, and overall goals. In this way, once you have considered your preferred task and determined the types of activity that give you joy, that is the most important things, I think, you can look for opportunities to use your talent in personal life. Beginning to reflect on the kinds of profession you feel closest to in terms of aptitude, skills, characteristic, perspective, and predispose you to know who to use your character's strength through an active and constructive response. Okay, then in the next slide, why we have to develop self-awareness, because in the experience of our personality is important to understand and be more consciously about our character. And self-awareness have different definition. We see a bit with Daniele, also how can be linked with mindfulness, meditation, and etc. But we give this definition that is from Institute for Character. So for them, self-awareness is the ability to see yourself clearly and objectively through reflection and introspection. And this is a component of social intelligence. So social intelligence will be another important aspect, I think, of this module and in general of a self-aware person. Because when a person is aware of the motives and feelings of themselves and others and how to fit and act into different social situations, this person is using her self-awareness muscles and displays this social intelligence. So in the next, we see also common benefit of self-awareness. We can just see a bit of them, like that can give us the power to influence outcomes. So for example, if I want to realize a paint at the end of this month, for example, so it will be my outcome, the painting. I have to be self-aware about my feeling of this month, my task of this month, and etc. So it influences the outcome if we are more clear about it. And it can help us to become better decision maker. We can be more self-confidence. And in this result, we can communicate better. We said also before. And it will allow us to understand things from multiple perspectives. That is very important. At the end, I put a good exercise about that, because it's good to think about yourself, to think about your self-awareness, but in the same time, it's important to understand that you are in an open world where you can see different perspective, different point of view. It is so linked because there's no only true one true. And then it gives us greater ability to regulate our emotion, because it's not, I don't know if it's just something that people say, but someone say that the artists are very emotional. I think is a power thing, because you can use your emotion in your heart, but in the same time, sometimes it's good to be more analytics, and self-awareness can regulate this kind of feelings and emotion. And then also linking to the speak of Daniele, it will decrease stress and make us more happier. In the next slide, I think we go a bit deep of what are the strengths. I think I can talk about it, but it's something that one by one should ask to themselves, like, what is my strength? I think everybody knows, if we are, I don't know, youngster or adult, we already know what is our strength and what are our weaknesses, of course. We will see also during the SWOT analysis how to balance them. But in this point of view, if you are, I don't know, a musician or an artist that is trying to experiment themselves in the performing or in the video art, I don't know, of course, your strength will be the video or the painting, or that you are so good in relationship, like the networking of your gallery is so good because you are very empathic people, for example. So think about your strength and put in the file when you have to grow up and with your heart. When selling yourself to the owner of an establishment that you want to play, for example, if you are a musician, or to someone from a band you would like to join in, there is no much for a place for humility in this kind of situation. It's sort of it's like a job interview. In a job interview, of course, you are not saying, okay, this is my weaknesses, I'm so bad, and this is the quality that I don't have. So it's always like a job interview without so pressure, of course, but try to figure out that you are facing a world that wants to give you the opportunity in this kind. Okay, in the next one, we will see the weaknesses in this kind of way. After you understand your strength, you go to the weaknesses, that sometimes people are more aware about the weaknesses and sometimes not. Anyway, assessing your weaknesses as a musician, for example, is probably not the most pleasant aspect of self-analysis. Some people are not comfortable with doing it, but it's very bit as important as knowing better your good points. Maybe there are just few minor things that are holding you back. In the next, we talk a bit about transferable artistic skills. We talk a lot about hard skills, soft skills, and etc. In the field of art, we have the transferable artistic skills. They are like collaborative work, effective communication, adaptability, flexibility, engagement with diverse team, guidance and leadership, and sense of responsibility. So, for example, if you are in a job interview, you can think about this kind of skills, because a lot of people just go to the most knowing one, like the hard skills or the softer, but in this kind of way, you can demonstrate it about these transferable artistic skills. Then if you are an artist, you have a lot of them. And it refers to as people skills. These abilities are both innate and accurate, and they find application in various social contexts. We talked about before social intelligence, that is so linked about that. And interpersonal skills are categorized as soft skills and are utilized when engaging and communicating with others, aiding in the initiative, development, and sustain of relationship. In the next one, we go to extrospection, but maybe, Yorgos, you remember me if it's the topic of the second part, because we have to stop in the first part just for the introspection. I can.
So do you want to have SWOT analysis like after the short break? And then we have also access to others. So
No, if this is think for the first part of the webinar, we can continue.
yes, you can continue, and we will have like in 15 minutes, we can have a short 5-minute break if it is wanted. So you can move on if you want.
Okay, so we finished the first unit that was about strengths and weaknesses and introspection. So think about yourself, your characteristic, your good point, your bad point, and etc. And in the second part, we will focus on extrospection. So we have 10 minutes, I think, and then we go to break. In these 10 minutes, we can start thinking about the extrospection and whether economic, philosophical, social, or cultural, the context in which an artwork is created is intrinsic to its meaning. For example, a street artist is by definition determined by the very context in which they create and exhibit the street, of course. So this is very important sentence, I think. Artists do not create context, they work within them. I mean, you can create a context. I don't know if you are Leonardo or all the historical context that now we can study about it, like Renaissance. But now we live in a world full of context, and you have to choose one. If you are a street artist, of course, will be the street, but also maybe social media, because social media is a kind of market now. Before they had saloon or academy prize and etc. And there was all the system of art during the 19th century that works. I mean, not so better, but works. Now we are like in a kind of post second contemporary period. So it's like that we have different contexts and we have to work inside them. One very good file for me, for example, is like the performing art, because it's very related to different situation, and it's more linked with people, and it's also difficult to catch the performing. Like a painting is okay, it's a paint, so I can buy it, but how can you buy a performance? For example, you can take the ticket, but it's different. So I think that is one of the good context to work in, the performing art. So the context is the web of complex circumstances in which artists works in relation to their physical environment, historical trend and tradition, social movement, cultural values, intellectual perspective, personal commitments, and more. What we said about it. And the next is about the capacity of a work of art to communicate effectively the here and now. It's a very long and deep theme, I think. A lot of period in the history of art try to understand the here and now, and we had the expressionism and Baroque time, and I think that they catch the here and now of their time. To do that, if you success with that, I think that the people, the public, the audience will really follow you. If you do the right opera, telling this kind of feeling of the here and now, you are in a good point. So this is why it's important to understand the context. And at the same time, the economic, the philosophical, the social, and the cultural context in which an artwork is created deeply impact the production process and the life of you as an artist. So this context often also determines specific working hierarchy, like situation of exclusion or inclusion, and different power holding system. Sorry. Okay. Being aware of the context in which you move is fundamental and is also indispensable to understand how to bring your talents and strength into the market. We leave here some questions, and that not be specifically related to the personal and professional development of an artist, but is deeply impacted. Like, how can offer you money? How can I buy your art? Do you expose your art in a gallery? Is still value to make an exhibition, to sell the art pieces? I don't know, for example. Some are working, but is some different now than the past. So it's important to have different channels and have a good networking in this kind of context. And online platforms, of course, are very useful now. Then another could be, where is the closest exhibition venue? For example, I came from Rome. It's full of exhibition venue, but of course I will not go to exhibit my art pieces in the Vatican, for example, but I can see that there are some independent space nearby where I can show my art, where I can ask them to exhibit, or I can meet a curator that he can be interested in my art, so I can go there. And for example, in this kind of venue, exhibition venue, it's important to go during the vernissage or the finissage, so the start or the end of an exhibition. So you can meet the artist, you can meet the curator, you can meet the people who can offer you money. So we go in the first question. In the third question, so how easy is it for me to reach the closest art school? Maybe someone of you already start a graduation in art, or finish it, or I don't know, never started. Anyway, is a good point to start an art school. But I think that an artist can also make something without the academic structure, I think. But it's a good point if you want to start. Then, how does my political position affect my work? So it's another big question, I think, because if you want to be linked with your context, so with the here and now, what we were talking before, you in a certain way have to be linked to your political position. And of course, everyone has different position about that. But some artists choose to put the politics inside their work, and sometimes works. I mean, it's a good point, but sometimes art can also don't talk about political aspect. That is great, I think. And then, which are the current artistic trends? Again, here, I don't know if you want to share a bit about your country, because I think it's different by each of us. But in Italy, I can tell you, for example, about arte povera. That is no famous, is not the current artistic trend now, but Pistoletto, that is one of the artists that came from this current, that is arte povera, make these art pies in the main square of Naples. He put this Venere degli Stracci. This is the title of this masterpiece, of this opera. It's an old opera. It's like from 60. And he put this opera, and then someone burned this opera. So he lost it, and he don't want that his opera was destroyed, etc. But from that moment, people start again to talk about Pistoletto. So finally, we can say that what is the current artistic trend? It's changed a lot. And about the Pistoletto and the Venere degli Stracci that was burned in front of the main square of Naples, we can see that something has happened. If Pistoletto just leave the opera in front of the square, nobody was talking about like today. I'm not saying that burn an opera is important. Of course, I against that. But in the same way, someone start to think, okay, maybe the artists think about the process, so people can really think about the process of the opera and etc. So to be update about the current situation and the current trend, it's good to be in the place, read a lot of newspaper articles in the social media, and do a lot of networking again. We are in the middle, I think, to make the break. It's 60:30. I don't know, Yorgos, what do you think?
Yes, whatever you want, but I would just like to inform you that what is next is the actual, as you see, SWOT analysis, a description. So do you want to present it right now and have a little bit later the break before the practical exercise of the SWOT analysis, or do you want to have the break now and then present the SWOT analysis and have the exercise as well?
Yeah, I think it's good to have linked the exercise description with the SWOT
Okay,
analysis.
so then we can have like right now a very short break. So everyone, we will give you 5 minutes so we can join back at 6:35, 36, and we will continue with the SWOT analysis description and with the practical exercise about the SWOT analysis. Okay? Great.
Thank you.
See you in 5 minutes. Okay, so I guess we can start coming back. If you're all here, I don't know.
Yes.
Great. Let me share again the presentation, and we'll take it from where we left.
Yorgos, maybe share again the attendance list. Maybe someone enter after.
Yeah, I will. Once I share my screen again, I will share in the chat the attendance list again. So the PowerPoint presentation is being uploaded, and in a few seconds you will see it appearing on your screen, I guess.
Okay. Okay, to make this exercise, we have, also we will have a template that Yorgos will share on the chat, because I think it's so easy to do it also with paper and pencil, but in the template that we provide to you, it's a Word document. You can also use several times and see how it's shapes. So the SWOT analysis, I think, is a very cool instrument. When I did the first time, I was in a master, and I don't think it's great because you have to understand how to use these tools before, because it's nice to understand how it works and how you can adapt it in your personal SWOT or professional SWOT. For example, if you have a project that you have to send to someone and you are not so sure about the result, and you are maybe in a team, you can do the SWOT analysis, because it's a good analysis to understand the strengths, the weaknesses, but in the same way, the opportunity and the threats. So the SWOT analysis is an exercise of introspection, but also of extrospection, which can help you to understand your personal strength and connect them to the threat and opportunities the working context offer, or if it's not working, the life context offers to you. We can go to the second slide, the next one. Yeah. So when you do a SWOT analysis, you can just put in a piece of paper across like that, and you start in this part with the strength. So it's like, what can I offer? Oh, sorry. Okay, it's your message. What can I offer? What advantages do you have? What do you do better than anyone else? What personal resources can you access? What do other people see as your strength? Which of your achievements are you most proud of? What value do you believe in that offer failed to exhibit? And are you part of a network that no one else is involved in it? If so, what connection do you have with influential people? So this is an example of what can you offer, what can be your strength, and it's about your personal SWOT, but as I said before, you can do with your project, with your work. For example, if I'm writing a project and I want to understand the strength of it, is a project about, I don't know, sustainability. So one strength for sure will be the sustainability, the link to the environment, and etc. The weaknesses. So what's am I missing? What state do you usually avoid because you don't feel confident doing them? Or what will the people around you see as your weaknesses? Or are you completely confident in your educational skills training? Do you have personality traits that hold you back in your files? Okay, this is some example. In the same time, as I said before, if your project is about sustainability, and it can be one good point, a bad point can be, am I really sustainable? For example, can I understand what is my carbon footprint in this project? Or for doing this project, am I able to use just digital tools and not paper? And in these ways, I'm reaching the people that I want, like all the target. So this can be some question that help you to understand the weaknesses and the strength of your project or of yourself. In the next part is very nice because you will see in the next slide also the opportunity and the threat. So basically, the good point can become the opportunity. So what is helpful for me? And the threat, what is harmful for me? So what the new technology can do for us, or is your industry growing? And if so, how can you take advantages at the current market? Do you have a good and strategic network, or what trend do you see in your company and how can you take advantage of them? Is there a need in your company or industry that no one is feeling? The last question, for example, is always work. Like, am I doing a project that is, I don't know, similar to another one? There's some really the need of doing this project, or is the right period to do that? Is there the right time in the season? For example, about a festival, is there a need in this case or not? Then in this way, the opportunity can be, okay, it's full of festival during summer. I can make a festival in the spring season, for example. The treats. So what is harmful for me? What obstacles do you currently face at work? For example, so referring like in a personal view in this way, are any of your colleagues competing with you for project of roles? Is your job or the demand for the things you do changing? And does changing technology change also your position? Could any of your weaknesses lead to threats? So also these questions are very important to understand this kind of situation. And it's nice because when you do the SWOT analysis, you have this cross section and you really see clearly in the same page all these aspects, the good part, the bad part, and then the opportunity and the threats. From this starting point, you can develop a strategy, like to understand the opportunity and how to set your goals and etc. In the next slide, we go to the 3 unit, but maybe we can do the SWOT analysis now. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because it's an exercise that we put at the end. But it's good to do now. And I usually take 10 minutes to do that, but it's good to reflect upon the question, upon the answer. So we can start doing by ourselves, and Yorgos can upload the template on the chat so you can do by yourself, because it's very private, I think, the SWOT analysis.
Sorry, Giulia, won't you share the link? Won't you share the...
I will do it, yeah, sorry.
So that they can download, you know, in their computers.
Yeah.
So everyone, Giulia will share for you the template in the chat. You can follow the link. It will guide you to the Word document where you will see the template for the SWOT analysis development. What you are asked to do is to download the document to your computers and do it separately, because if you start typing in the document that Giulia will share, you will all have the same document to type into. So what you need to do is open the link, save the document to your computer, and start filling it in separately. Now, if you cannot access the document, because as I have understood, some of you have accessed the webinar via your mobile phones and you may not be able, then you can just follow this actually, template that you have like 4 blocks with the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you can do it like manually on a piece of paper and use like a pen in order to do the exercise as well. So I will also type the guidelines here once Roberta shares with you the link to download the document.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not working.
Okay, then we'll figure it out. Let me see what I can do.
That.
Then I can share a template. Don't worry.
I give you before.
If you can, yes, or I will share another one.
Okay.
Which is about
the same, yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you. You are perfect. Okay.
So as I also said in the chat, please open this link, download the template to your computer in order to start filling it in separately. Because if you start typing on this link, as with the attendance list, you will have all the answers in the same document. So open it, download it, and then after the time that Giulia will set for the exercise, we will discuss the results, your results of your SWOT analysis.
Okay, as I said before, let's try with 10 minutes. And if you need more, we'll give more time. Yes, Cecilia.
Okay, so Cecilia, yeah.
I was wondering if you could put the, like for 5 minutes, the next slide with the strengths and weaknesses, so we could have the
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Point.
once I'm past it. Yeah,
okay, yes. So I will share during this period of the 10 minutes. So the exercise will finish at 7. So within these 2 5-minute periods, I will show these 2 slides with the strengths, weaknesses, and then with the opportunities and threats, so that you can also see the questions in order to fill your analysis correctly. Okay?
Yeah. And
okay, so we have 10 minutes.
If we need.
Great. Hey everyone, did you all manage to finish the exercise, or would you like to give like a short extension with a few minutes more? Please write me in the chat if someone needs a few more minutes so that we can extend the exercise. Otherwise, we will proceed. No, so I guess you all finished the exercise.
Okay. I don't know if we want to share the result. I can start if you want. I did the SWOT analysis of my house because I did several times the SWOT analysis of myself, my work, my job, my project. Then I decided to do it by my house. So if we go in the first slide where we can see like all the scheme, yeah, I start with the strength. I put 3 of them. So I live in Rome. So one strength, I think that Rome is a beautiful city, is very connected. I have a lot of opportunity and I have a balcony. So this is my 3 strength. The weaknesses, Rome is so confusion. I mean, it's a mess, Rome. It's very stressful city and it's not so clean. And another weaknesses is that is not like near to a green spot. So the opportunities is that I can find a lot of exhibition venue. I can see a lot of concert and I can meet like international people. The treats is about the future, so I put again 3 treats. The first one is that like during I cannot share your SWOT analysis. I say a message.
It's from me, don't worry, you can continue.
Okay, so the treats I was saying in the future, I think that is possible to live in Rome without air condition during summer, for example, is a big thing. And I'm worried about the expensive lifestyle that you have to follow up here. And another treat is that you are missing the atmosphere of villages, like the community atmosphere and all this kind of stuff. And this is a good SWOT analysis because I have in my mind now, and if I want to change my house or if I want to planning something, it's a good starting point.
Okay, who else would like to share their SWOT analysis? Cecilia, perhaps?
I didn't mean to turn my camera off. That would have been really weird. I meant to turn my microphone on.
Don't worry.
Yeah, sure, I'm happy to share. So I wrote mine from the context of being a freelance illustrator, which I used to do a lot more, well, not professionally, just for friends and family, really. I used to do a lot more before the pandemic, and then it happened, and I just have just completely gone down with it. So I really want to get back up again. So then for my strengths, I put that I already have a followers on Instagram. I have a good social media network to start off with, so that's a good like foundation to work from. And soon I'll have a better space to work in at home. And I have now a digital drawing pad. And from what others see me is that, I mean, people say they like my work, but I can't know for sure, but I hope that's a strength. Weaknesses, I said that I avoid doing bigger tasks because I just have quite a short attention span, and if people ask me to do something, I might say yes, but then I don't end up doing it. So that's a weakness that others see in me. And that's what I put as a personality trait that holds me back. And at the moment, I wouldn't say that I'm very confident in my skills because I haven't been drawing so much these last years. But I'm quite confident in what I've learned from both education and from friends. For opportunities, I have a digital drawing pad now, which is great. So I hope this will open up new things. And I also have quite a good network of artistic and creative friends and family, and that I already have a network that likes my work and they are happy to promote it for me, which is very nice. For threats, I wrote that in general, there is a shrinking industry as an illustrator because everything is becoming digitalized. So books, birthday cards, notebooks, everything that you create as an illustrator is kind of less and less used. And also, of course, there's AI coming around the corner. So that's also scary. Another threat for me is time. I just don't have time to do it properly at the moment. And then I don't have anyone, because I don't have a company for it, so I don't have any colleagues competing with me. I just have the entire internet to compete with, basically. So that's my SWOT analysis.
Great. Very good.
Anyone else? Of course, Giulia can give you feedback. You can ask her for feedback if you want for your analysis. That's why we're also sharing here right now, because if you want to, Giulia can give you her feedback. Moreover, because Cecilia, you mentioned it, you can also share, feel free to share like any account or website with your work or anything else if you want. The other participants also to follow your work. As I said before, this project is also about networking opportunities among you as artists, so feel free to do it. Anyone else that wants to share their SWOT analysis, either just like Giulia and Cecilia did, or within the chat? You can also use the chat if you don't want to appear. Otherwise, Giulia, I guess we have like around 10 to 15 minutes before the conclusive remarks and the evaluation form. So if you want, you can like shortly present also the third unit, perhaps.
Yep, sure.
Okay.
Yep. And just to tell you about the SWOT analysis, that is a good exercise to do different time, like from today and 3 months and the next year. It's good to do several times. The third unit, as I told before, is like, okay, we start with self-assessment of ourselves, doing this kind of introspection. Then we go to extrospection during the SWOT analysis. So we put in the file a lot of questions about the context where we act in. And then we have the third unit that is about assess through others, because self-awareness does not only refer to how we perceive ourselves, but also to how others perceive us. That is very tricky point, I think. This skills is related to the ability to explain personal attitude, defend your own opinion, ideas, and respect the opinion of the others. Assess through others, learn how to interpret and then use subjective reaction, because we always have subjective reaction, but understanding better and why we have it, it's good to work on it. So in the world of art, assessing through the others is fundamental and naturally inherent in the nature of the audience, because without it, the art without the audience have no reason to exist, of course. If I don't know, if you know, maybe a brilliant artist that love to drawing and it's just a bit, I don't know, don't want to share his drawing and etc. because he don't think about the audience, but everyone who draw, who makes art, think about an audience. So every artifact, piece of art, or piece of music that is produced for an external user, even if the artist is not aware of it, artistic production is always direct toward a potential audience. In this sense, such a subtopic of the module should be highly considered in the field of art, as it can be prepare participants for different kind of feedback and new awareness on which they regenerate their work. So the third unit is about that. We can see the next slide. And we take the life comp framework. I don't know if you heard about it. It's very useful tool. It's a framework by the European Union that adopt and revise recommendation on the key competence for lifelong learning, setting out a core of set of skills that are necessary to work and live in our sector. And the capacity to assess yourself through others is set as one of the key competencies set by the Council. So the value of evaluation lies in feedbacks, not in your own self-perception. So these types of evaluation provide vulnerable information that has real impact for both the evaluated and the respondent. Modern research has found that contribution from multiple people provide a more accurate picture of behavior and even personality than self-perception. Then we can go to the LifeCom framework. That is the next slide. Thank you, Yorgos. And it's a bit little, the images, I know, but I put the text on the right. So the aim in that everybody should have the essential set of competencies needed for personal development, social inclusion, active citizenship, and employment. The competencies of LifeComp include literacy, multilingual, mathematical and science competencies, technological and engineer skills, and digital skills. Maybe you know about STEAM, that is a kind of a mixet of them. Then we see like a tree. On the top, we find empathy, communication, and collaboration. Then on the right, growth mindset, critical thinking, managing learning, and then well-being, flexibility, and self-regulation. It's very useful framework. The LifeComp you can use as a reference for different kind of situation. We can go to the next. Yeah, we already talked about LifeComp that offer us a conceptual framework for the personal and social learning to learn. And then in this case, just a few words about working with others that can be also referred to the social domain, which according to the European framework is fundamental to achieve personal fulfillment and satisfaction, develop and relate to others, and learn to learn and remain employable. In the next slide, we see the value system. At the end, I think we are not able with the time to make the value road, the value map. That is a very nice link that we can share with you at the end. And you can do your value map like in this website that we will share. And what is a value system and a value map? I think it's like the output of our webinar here, our story that we start from ourselves and then we go to the SWOT and then we go to the others. It's at the end, you will have a kind of value map. And value are intangible priorities that people use as a compass in their navigation of their life. And in a professional environment, such like core values from the fundamental that builds any business, and value influence action, behavior, and the decision we take and the choice we make. So to define individual and personal value, you have to ask about yourself. Who inspires you? What is it about them you find inspiring? And do you have rules? Do you have rules you follow to the letter? And remember a time when you were at your best? And what about that moment made it you to be like your best moment? This is kind of question that help you to make your value map, value road, and value system. And then to identify your professional business value, after these that were individual. About the business, you can do business core values spring for personal value to different, like can involve not only yourself but also customer, clients, prospect, staff, and vendors. In the next, you will see how to create your value map based on this kind of individual value and business value. So don't think just about your personal skills, but also about your customers and etc. The value map visually represents an individual's value, their passion, their skills, their aspiration, and it's being with self-reflection and self-analysis, evaluating experience, competencies, and achievements, because different sections of the map focus on personal strength, value, passion, and what we see before with the SWOT. The personal value map serves as a guide for goal setting, career planning, and decision making. Because after you make your SWOT and you assist through others, now you are ready to goal setting and career planning your business. So regular self-assessment and reflection help you to reflect and make your work better. The personal value map help you to understand your point and your decision. So in the next one,
I think this is where the theory stops. Yeah.
yeah, because I think
About
in the third slide of the exercise, there is the value map, like the link that I
I
said.
believe this is
Is
what you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah, exactly. Because it's a long journey, as I said before, because it's about feelings, it's about value, about business, and then also individual. And in this kind of, in this link that maybe you can copy paste on the chat so people are able
Yeah.
to do online. We can just take, I don't know, it's 17, so it's almost done. I think it's better if people can have free time to do at home when they want. Maybe you can just take a look to the website. That is nice.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've pasted on in the chat this link for you to create your personal value map on Mural in accordance with what Giulia just presented to you about the personal value map. So yes, it's like 7:17. So we have like our last 10 minutes for our conclusive remarks. And before I continue with my conclusive remarks, perhaps do you want Giulia to say anything about today's webinar, or if anybody from you, the participants, if you want to say something about today's session, to address anything, to have any, if you have any questions for Giulia, you can raise your hands right now or type them in the chat for the next minutes. Giulia, you have the floor, of course.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Yorgos. I see you freeze. No, now I see you smiling. Okay. I don't know. I'm happy to present you the module, and I hope that the other one also will be so interesting and helpful for everyone. And thank you.
Anyone else from the participants, if you want to ask anything, if you have any queries before I continue with my remarks and with the link to the evaluation form. So I see all of them typing thank you and thank you. Okay, if you don't have any questions, then I will proceed in order to close this session smoothly. So first of all, you will see in the chat right now again the link to the attendance list. If you haven't filled it out, please do so at least now. As I said before, it's very important. Moreover, I will paste right now in the chat the link to the evaluation form. Please, it's very important for the project's reporting and the overall implementation that you evaluate each session that you attend. So it would be very helpful for us if you follow this link now and filling the evaluation form. It's very important for us. So please just follow the link. It's a very short evaluation form. As you will see, once you open it, you will be asked a few demographic information, and then you select the module you just attended, which is the second module, Get to Know Your Strengths, and then you provide us with your feedback. And now, because I know we have many artists here and Cecilia before, and now, as I took the opportunity to network with all of you, I again invite you to follow the cultural footprint project, and I'm pasting here the link to the website of the Cultural Footprint Project. And why I do so? Because you can follow all the updates and news about the project and further networking opportunities and professional development opportunities, specifically regarding the today's module theory and the exercises as well. Here in this link I sent you now, you will find the project results. In these project results, we have uploaded the Youth Training Handbook. It's the overall curriculum and educational materials that were developed under the project. In this handbook, you will find both the previous trainings curriculum and today's sessions curriculum. You will find everything about SWOT analysis, about assessing yourself and strengths and weaknesses, and you will also find in the annex all the exercises and their description, so that you can study in your own free time the theory of this module and do the exercises again. And lastly, I will share also the link to the project's news. Here you will find updates about the project, and currently this is to all of you that are artists. And Cecilia, for example, you said you're an illustrator. Here in the news section, you will find that we are currently running also another application procedure. All of you that are artists and emerging artists and young artists and want to have like a free opportunity to promote your art and acquire networking opportunities, then you can register in this registration form your artworks to be hosted by the project's repository. And lastly, as I said in the beginning of today's session, in a few days we will launch also the MOOC platform in the project's website. So make sure that you follow the project and these links I shared with you right now. And I'm sharing just once again the link to the evaluation form, because I don't want you to lose it, because as I said, it's really important for us to have your feedback. So please take a few minutes now before we officially close the meeting to access this link and fill in the evaluation form. I will give like 2 minutes. And my last remark concerns our next session. Our next training webinar will be implemented next Tuesday, the 10th of October. So the next training is, I hope you have already registered to participate in it. It has the title Be Sustainable, and will introduce you to several sustainability principles in art and several tips and techniques and guidelines and advice on how you can be sustainable as artists. So it will be another very important session as well. And we hope that we see you all there. So 5 minutes left. I leave the floor to all of you in case you want to address any queries, or to Giulia if she wants to say anything else. Otherwise, please, in the following minutes, just fill in the attendance list if you haven't done so before, fill in the evaluation form, and we will officially close today's training webinar. Thank you. Okay, and may I ask for all of you that want to, I will stop sharing my screen. Would you like to open your cameras, those that you want to, in order to have a screenshot? And I will share it with you via email tomorrow about the post-implementation procedure. So if you want, those who want to open their cameras to have like a screenshot. So I see that many of you open your cameras. Thank you, everyone. I'm waiting a few more minutes for everyone to open their cameras. So glad to see you all. Okay, smile and 3, 2, 1. Great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much, Giulia, for today's training. Thank you all for attending. I hope we see you in the next trainings. And you will receive the screenshot and everything else that is of your interest via email tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you all.